winners? Let the pros show you how to make money. General Manager Al DeMarco, a regular contributor on Fox Sports, MSNBC, and Comcast Sports TV, brings over 25 years of handicapping experience to the table. CEO Steve Budin, the author of Bets, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, is the man responsible for creating the online betting industry. Together, they lead PickNation.com, your #1 source for winners.
The Chargers and Cardinals are a perfect 2-0. The Saints are 0-2. 20 teams are 1-1. Welcome to Parody NFL Style. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here along with Steve Budin, and welcome back to the Countdown to Kickoff program, the only nationally televised show that breaks down all your NFL action from a point spread perspective every weekend. And we are proud to be joining you for the 6th consecutive year here on FoxSports.com. But I have an announcement here at the top of the show. This is going to be my very last show because I've decided that I am now qualified to become an NFL referee. So I'm going to spend the next couple of days, Steve.
That's not saying much, Al.
I'm going to try to look and memorize at least 17% of the league's rule book, and I'm going to try to be a line judge next weekend because after having to watch the Baltimore-Philly game last week, the Monday night game between Denver and Atlanta, which I still think was being played on Wednesday night, I think I'm definitely qualified to be an official.
Well, I hate to see who's going to be the person that comes, the scab Al DeMarco, to come and replace you. Sounds like I'm going to have my hands full.
I'll tell you what, I come into this business 25 years. I've been a professional sports handicapper, but before then, I used to be a sports reporter. So back in those days, I even covered the scab games, the replacement games, when the NFL had them 100 years ago. So, to talk about the integrity of the game being challenged with these officials, I don't really think that they made that much of a difference in terms of the outcome of the games, in terms of point spreads, covers, etc. But where I do think that these officials have definitely affected the game, and I finally heard John Gruden pointed out on the Monday night telecast, is that teams that like to run the hurry-up offense, the no-huddle attacks, Baltimore in the Philadelphia game, Atlanta on Monday night, teams want to have that flow. They want to, when they're moving the ball, they want to have their opponents backpedaling on their heels. But these officials are just screwing up everything, slowing down the pace. And I think that's where it definitely affects our perspective of the games as handicappers, as gamblers, because I think it affects the totals, and it also dulls the momentum of teams that you may be betting on because you're going with them because you like that quick strike attack.
And it's that more than anything. I don't think it's been such big mistakes that they've been making. I think the way the game has slowed down, 3 hours to finish a game. I mean, gamblers, the games are barely making it in time for you to bet the 4 o'clocks with 1 o'clock money because you got games that are taking so long to get over. This is a big problem.
Absolutely. Now, where I come into this as a professional handicapper with all these years, really using the experience that I gained from covering teams, being on the field in locker rooms, etc., and that has shaped my philosophy as a handicapper. Steve comes at it from a whole different perspective. This is a guy who was a son of a bookmaker and also a bookmaker himself, but the guy who really created what you now know as the offshore sports betting industry. So we have like the yin and yang here in terms of taking a look at games. And we're going to get to our first game on Dallas-Tampa Bay in just a moment. But Steve, one thing that we like to talk about here is gambling philosophy and betting techniques. And I want to talk about the value or not, depending on your perspective, of buying a half point in certain situations, because we saw it come into play last week, 2 occasions on Sunday. The Giants-Tampa game, also the Cincinnati-Cleveland game. Now, I'm a firm believer that you always buy the half point, up or down, depending on whether you're on a favorite or underdog, when the number crosses 3, 4, 7, sometimes 10. And 4 sounds like a crazy number, but we think about it, guys, with the 2-point conversion for all these years, you see so many games, 24-20, 17-13, 14-10. 4 is a crucial number. I think it's a huge disservice to yourself and as a handicapper to your clientele not to buy the half point in certain situations, because let's face it, you're only talking about on a 3 and now on a 7, of course, as well in Vegas and offshore, where you're talking about an extra 20, 25 cents on a dollar. Right. It's a small investment from my perspective to make, but I'm interested to get your viewpoint as a guy who was on the other side of the fence taking action for years.
Well, as a former bookmaker, I have a little bit of a difference of opinion, but I really agree with you. I would just add 2 little things. One thing is, for me, it's always about bankroll. Make sure you have enough bankroll that you're up for the season, and then you take their money and use it against them by buying the extra half a point. The second thing is, both of our philosophy is the same this way. We're always in that surround and pound, where we pick one game on the board and hit that game, and not try to bet 10 games on the board. We're not action junkies. We actually want to win. When you're betting every game on the board, if you buy an extra point in every game, you're going to get completely killed. If you're finding that one game and one game only and sacrificing every urge you have across the board to find that one game, you want to take as much of it as an advantage as possible, buy the extra half a point.
Right, and I personally think over the long run, guys, it always pays off more often than not when it actually comes into play. So just something I wanted to point out at the top. Dallas, one of those teams, if you bought the half point last week at Seattle, it didn't matter. They lost outright, down 10-0, special team flubs in the first quarter. But now Dallas back at home. And listen, if you said the Cowboys were going to open up the season at the Giants and at Seattle and come off 1-1, you'd probably be happy if you're a Pokes fan. Thinking that they beat the Giants and lost to Seattle, you probably wouldn't have forecasted that. But now they're in their home opener, and true, they have not done well coming off a straight-up loss, only covering one time after their last 9 straight-up losses. But I think this is a great situation to jump on them. I am not impressed with Tampa Bay. Yes, the Buccaneers and Greg Schiano's debut upset Carolina at home, and yes, they almost upset the Giants last week on the road. But Eli Manning threw for a little over 5,300 yards. I'm just joking, but you know the deal. In that contest, Tony Romo's got to be sitting here, oh my God, after being harassed by Seattle, I'm going to play this Tampa Bay defense. Please bring them to me.
For me, I mean, I don't have to tell you again, betting Tony Romo and betting the Cowboys is a lot like going to Vegas and stepping up to the roulette wheel. You have no idea what to expect, and just because red just came out doesn't mean the next spin is going to be black. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. We do know one thing. There will be a lot of scoring in this game. Tampa Bay scored a lot last week against the Giants. They obviously, on the flip side, gave up a ton of points as well. I see the same thing happening here. I'm going over the total, Al.
Okay, I can't see the over or the under, no real opinion there. I like the Cowboys. This is one of those particular games, 7.5 point line. If you're looking for a possible teaser opportunity, I say the Cowboys are not going to lose. You could take them down in the standard 2-team teaser. 6 points you've got to play with. You're taking Dallas at -1 and 1.5. They are not going to lose that game. So that's a possibility for you out there. San Francisco and Minnesota 49ers, as advertised. They've come out, guns blazing. You know, you look at that first game at Green Bay. Don't look at the final score. Realize they were up 23-7 at Lambeau and dominated the Packers through 3 quarters. They dominated Detroit at home. Minnesota, well, I don't have anything nice to say about the Vikings, to be honest with you. I mean, they're coming off a loss to the Colts in the final minute, 23-20, but they needed to rally from 14 points down to put themselves in the position to have a tie game late against Indianapolis, a bad Indianapolis team. So a Vikings team that's 2-9-1 against the spread their last 12 at home, I just don't see any support. I don't quite understand why this number is so cheap, though, with the Niners.
And last week I was a little scared of the Niners. I like them, but if you remember, I went away from the game and I went over in the total. As it turns out, they covered the game and the total pushed, and I'll do my best Anthony Red voice, a push, Al. It's like kissing your sister. But this time, Adrian Peterson, he can't move against this San Fran front line. I like San Francisco here. Going to buy the 0.5 point down to 6.5 and lay it.
Hey, guys, before we get to the next game on Detroit, Tennessee, just want to remind you that you can get my best bet today, Steve's latest crew release from that incredibly red-hot service crew out of Baltimore. And, guys, I've got to tell you, last week they hit 2 more 59 plays. They had Atlanta on Monday night. They had Baltimore plus the points at Philadelphia on Sunday.
Jets in week 1.
Jets in week 1 over Buffalo. So they had their 4th consecutive 59 play in 4 tries this season, but more importantly, 59 winner number 25 out of 32 the past 5 years. And the Baltimore crew, 42-19 the past 5 years, making it $10 better, almost $10,000 in that stretch net. Well, you can get that play. You can get my best bet today. All the plays of all 10 handicappers at picknation.com for free, no strings attached, by checking out our all-access pass, because it's a free 1-day trial.
And this is something that we do that everyone else refuses to do, because flat out, they don't want you to know what's behind the curtain. We, on the other hand, we do. That's our gamble. We give you everything for free in the hope that you'll come back and like it.
And guys, again, you are getting $500-600 worth of action for free, no strings attached. And the reason I think mostly that we do it is that we have that much confidence that we have the best collection of handicappers that consistently make you money on the long term, and we're putting our money where our mouths are by giving you all access for free today, one-day free trial. My best bet, Steve's Baltimore Crew's latest 50-dime winner, for free. Check it out, the one-day all-access pass at picknation.com. Detroit, Tennessee. Lions barely beat St. Louis in week 1, hammered at San Francisco in week 2. Don't look at the final score. It wasn't that close. But I have nothing good to say about Tennessee, guys. 72 points the Titans have allowed in their first 2 games, losing to New England at home and San Diego on the road. And they already took on Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady. Oh, guess what? Here comes Matthew Stafford, and he hasn't had that breakout game until today.
Well, this is my Rodney Dangerfield special because Detroit -3, no respect whatsoever. This is a better team at most of the key positions. They're better at quarterback. They're better at wide receiver. They got a better defensive front line. To me, this is Detroit all the way, minus the 3 points.
Listen, Titans have failed to cover 6 straight games. I don't care that the Lions have only covered 3 of their last 14. They're covering this number again here today. Washington, 3.5 at home against Cincinnati. Interesting, RG3, the Redskins offense has been dynamic, 68 points in 2 games. The problem has been the defense has allowed 63 points in those first 2 games, and that's why they're 1-1. And last week's loss to St. Louis, where Sam Bradford threw for 316 yards, a costly one for Washington because they lost 2 defensive starters in that particular contest. I find it interesting that a Redskins team that has failed to cover 8 straight as a home favorite, including both prior occasions during Mike Shanahan's tenure, is favored here against a Cincinnati team that got crushed defensively by Baltimore, struggled defensively against Cleveland, but is 1-1, just like the Skins here. I like the dog in this particular spot.
Yeah, I hear you. RG3, maybe the most talented quarterback in the league right now from a personal talent perspective, but I'm with you. I think that in this game, look, I'm looking at Cincinnati lately. Andy Dalton, much more comfortable in the QB role this year. They're running better. They're passing better. Neither of these teams can play defense. I'm going over the total once again, Al.
Well, I like Cincinnati, and I agree wholeheartedly with you on the total because sitting at 49 points, keep in mind, both these teams went over the first 2 games already this season. I already told you how bad they've done defensively. Washington's gone over in 7 of their last 9. Cincinnati's gone over to the tune of 12-6-1 in its last 19. Final game of this first segment. Your Jets played up to our lower expectations as we forecasted last week, getting hammered at Pittsburgh after beating up a bad Buffalo team in week 1 at Miami. I think it's a good time to get back on the Jets bandwagon. Tony Sparano, new offensive coordinator, former Dolphins coach, a little bit of revenge here. And the Dolphins, big deal. They won last week. So what? It was Oakland.
Yeah, for me, it's the same exact analysis from week 1 and week 2. Jets were built to beat mediocre teams without elite quarterbacks. Miami Dolphins, not an elite team. Ryan Tannehill, not an elite quarterback. Jets win this one.
And the road team has covered 4 of the last 5 in the series. You're looking at a 3 number here. Again, I think this is a must-win situation for Rex's boys here. And again, I think that Sparano thing is also a little added motivation. Listen, guys, we've got a lot more games to break down here, starting with the Saints-Chiefs, battle of 0-2 teams. Who would have figured? And that's all coming up in the second half of today's Countdown to Kickoff program. Hey guys, it's time to save money. That's right, I'm going to save you $20 off a single purchase today by giving you a discount coupon code that you enter when prompted in your shopping cart. It's an easy one, Week 3. Week 3. W-E-E-K and the number 3, no space between week and the number 3. Enter Week 3 when prompted in your shopping cart. $20 savings off a single purchase today at the site. Listen guys, you can get money-saving discount coupon codes every single day. And $5 Play of the Week promotion, my Charity Game of the Week promotion, free trials of different services here at the site simply by watching my daily video report. Not just that, though. You can also get free picks. A lot of handicappers don't care about free picks, guys. I win my free picks. I break down the games for you. I give you in-depth analysis. I also tell you who's hot and who's not at the site on a daily basis. And my daily video reports are free, no purchase necessary, so make sure you check them out 7 days a week right here at the site. My daily video reports on my homepage. How would you like to get my best bet today, Steve's top service crew bet, and all the plays of all the handicappers at picknation.com? $500-600 of action, absolutely free. Sounds too good to be true, but in reality, it is the fact. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, along with Steve Boudin at picknation.com. We created something years ago called the All-Day Access Pass, and we are making it available to you free today.
Well, this is something that we do that no one else does. And let's be honest, no one else wants you to see what they do. They want you to pay first because they want that money. They know you're never coming back again. Us, the exact opposite. We want to show you everything. It's our gamble to show you everything so that you do come back again.
Exactly, guys. It's a free one-day all-access pass. No strings attached. There is nothing more. What you see is what you get. All the plays, all the handicappers, $500, $600 worth of value for free. And it's exclusively available at picknation.com. You have nothing to lose except the chance to get our plays for free.